Greetings, Lucky Legends. Welcome to the dojo. My name is Lucky, this is Lucky Lad TV. I'm your host for this video, and it is time for our PCL draft analysis. So, as you can see, we got a whole new squad up on here. This draft was very different than the others because I actually got sniped a lot. Until we got towards the end of the draft, I was getting sniped quite a bit. So, I had to adjust my draft a pretty decent amount. To tell you guys the truth, my original plan for this draft was Excadrill and Tyranitar as my first two picks. But Excadrill got drafted really fucking fast because of how good it is. So I had to adjust accordingly. I was also planning on getting Stoutland later in the draft. That also got taken, I believe. No, actually, Stoutland has not gotten drafted, but I wanted the option of having Sandrush. I wanted to get Garchomp, potentially. There were a lot of mons that I really considered getting that were not available. But my first overall pick, I didn't think was going to last, so I didn't even bother planning for it. But I ended up grabbing it, which was Mega Altaria. Mega Altaria was my first pick. And it is absolutely phenomenal. King DDD is a huge threat. That is defensive Dragon Dance. It puts in so much work. It puts in so much work. It is one of the biggest threats in the format. As you can see, Miguel, aka Mega Mogwai, does a shitload of work with this thing. And as soon as I grabbed that, immediately I knew that I had a steel problem. Poison is not as much of an issue because Altaria does learn Earthquake. You're probably thinking, well, he also learns Fire Blast. Yeah, but you can't boost your special attack with Altaria. So if your opponent has like an AV Excadrill or something like that, you're going to lose. So I needed something that was fast and hit hard. And also had access to priority. Because I also had a problem with Weavile right off the bat. So the second overall draft that I made was actually for Infernape. Infernape is extremely hard to counter, or to reliably counter in this format. The reason being, it just has such good coverage, it's fast, and it hits hard. It has base 104 attack and special attack, and it has base 108 speed. It breaks the 105 speed barrier, it breaks the 100 speed barrier. It is the third fastest Pokemon on my team, as I'm looking at it. And the thing about it is that it has physical and special priority. Most Pokemon are not able to claim that. I originally planned on grabbing Lucario. It was taken really fucking fast because people understand how good it is in the format. So, to follow up Infernape, I wanted to grab something that could really reliably take some hits, but could also be an offensive threat. So I grabbed Starmie. It's a great rapid spinner. It has Analytic, which means that if your opponent switches, the next mon that comes in is going to take an extra 33% of damage because of that ability. And to follow Starmie, I actually grabbed Skarmory. I wanted two Pokemon that could take hits, but could also, do a lot of different stuff. Skarmory is a good phasing Pokemon. It has reliable recovery. It has really good typing, only being weak to Electric and Fire. Yeah, that's it. It's only weak to Electric and Fire, which is absolutely fantastic, especially in a format like this. Electric and Fire. What do you do about that? Well, I have an Altaria. Altaria and Skarmory form a delicious core. Just delicious. But I immediately noticed that I wanted something with Ice-type priority, or at least Ice-type stab. Because here's the thing. In this format, you have Ice-types. And then you have dual Ice-weak Pokemon, like Landorus, like Garchomp, like Salamence. So I grabbed Mamoswine. I was shocked that it lasted as long as it did. And you're probably thinking, that's kind of like a ripoff of Miguel, that little Mamoswine Mega Altaria action you got going right there. Yeah, it is. And you want to know why? Because Miguel's a friend of mine, and I trust his judgment. And I was looking at it, and the only really big problem with Mamoswine is that it's slow. It only has base 80 speed. It gets outsped by a lot of threats. So I thought, let's try and get some Sticky Web. Galvantula got taken. And Levani is not good enough. It has 2 double weaknesses. That's just not acceptable for me. So I figured, what else do we have? Tailwind. Prankster. Tornadus. A lot of people think Tornadus is not that good in this format. I strongly disagree. I think I'm going to be able to prove that it is a very viable threat in this format, especially with Defiant. I'm trying to work out how to use Defiant properly, how to use it well, but it's really hard to figure out just exactly how to do that. I needed a Spadef wall, so I grabbed Trevenant. As you have probably seen, Shady uses Trevenant insanely well. Not in the GBA or anything like that, but in his Wi-Fi battles back in the day, he used to use Trevenant with a Harvest, I believe, Lumberry set that just put in so much work, and I'm really excited to use it. I grabbed a secondary Spadef wall that was more of an offensive threat in the form of Kecleon. Protean is huge. It gives me Shadow Sneak, it gives me Sucker Punch, it gives me Drain Punch, it gives me Fake Out, it gives me Power Up Punch, it gives me Return, it gives me Ice Punch, Fire Punch, Thunder Punch. It has so much coverage. It is a fantastic addition to the squad, and Shadow Sneak actually makes it really good for avoiding super effective attacks, because you can switch yourself over to Ghost type before your opponent hits you, which is really nice. I wanted something that was immune to ground, because our ground resistances were kind of eh. So I grabbed Electros. Electros is phenomenal in the format because it has 0 weaknesses. It also has access to setup moves, like Coil. As you saw last week, we used a Coil Electros, and it 1v1'd a Cresselia. Cresselia is a bulky fucking fat ass. We 1v1'd it. Because uninvested, Electros is really frail. But if you invest into it, it's actually really, really bulky. I followed that up with a ground weak Pokemon because I was okay with having another ground weakness. And I grabbed Drapion. It has Pursuit. It has Knockoff. It has Poison Stab for fairies. It also has access to Toxic Spikes. If my opponent doesn't have a poison type, I'm probably going to bring Toxic Spikes because of how good they are. They break Focus Ashes. They wear down Setup Sweepers so that they can't just sit there indefinitely and set up. And at this point, I wanted to grab something that had Switch Initiative, that was pretty fast, that had good bulk. I actually really specifically wanted a Pokemon that learned Healing Wish. So I grabbed Mesprit. Mesprit is great. It has Psychic Stab. Psychic Stab is huge in a format where Mega Venusaur is a thing. And I was almost done with my draft. Almost. I had one more Mon left. And I said, I want this last Mon to be fun. I want it to be something that if I bring it and use it properly, it will kill everything. So I got Rampardos. Rampardos has Rock Polish. However, its base speed is 58. But Rampardos also has a base attack stat of 165, coupled with Sheer Force or Mold Breaker. It destroys everything. It destroys everything. Sheer Force, Life Orb, with moves like... Even... Think about it this way. This thing one-shots Landorus with Ice Beam. It doesn't get Ice Punch. If it did, it would probably be in Ubers. Because of how absolutely vicious this thing is. It's very frail. It's very slow. However, it hits like a fucking tank. It doesn't hit like a truck. Trucks would get one-shotted by a Rampardos. Rampardos hits so insanely hard. I am so happy with this draft. It is definitely my favorite draft so far. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. I spend a lot more time on this league and preparing for these matches than I do in the PBL and the NBA. You're probably saying, that doesn't seem very fair or very logical. The reason being, this is a Wi-Fi league. And a Wi-Fi league I really want to upload. I look forward to uploading Wi-Fi battles, especially in the league format. So I tried to do my very best to win. It would bother me a lot more to lose in this league than in the other two. But that's it for now. I want to thank you guys so very much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. It's very much greatly appreciated. But with that, I'm going to get about best luck out there. I will see you all soon. Goodbye.